So today's class will be glenohumeral joint capsule and ligament. So we will be studying the topic in three headings. First, we will be discussing about the capsule, and second, we two headings. Basically, we will be studying under two headings: capsule and ligaments. So capsule. So what is the glenohumeral joint capsule? The property of glenohumeral joint capsule is it is large, loose, and it is weak. So 3 point you should remember. The glenohumeral joint capsule is it is large, it is loose. Loose means it's lax, and it is weak. So the joint capsule, if you take this as a so what will be the joint capsule? The capsule is, the capsule is surrounded in all the direction. First is, this is anterior capsule. This is anterior capsule, joint capsule. And superior joint capsule will be somewhere here. This is superior joint capsule. It is covered in all the direction. Clear? And posterior joint capsule. Here will be the posterior joint capsule and inferior joint capsule. Clear? Here, inferior. So it is covered in all the direction. Joint capsule is covered in all the direction. So this joint capsule it is lax. 3 points you should remember. It is lax, or it is loose, it is weak, and what is third point I have told? It is large, loose, and weak. Third one is large. So this is the property of the capsule of the glenohumeral joint. So why the capsule should be loose? Why it should be large? Why it should be weak? So you should see the 3 points. Because the glenohumeral joint is designed for mobility, greater mobility and less stability. So suppose if the joint is, so I have told three properties. It is loose, and it is weak, and it is large. Clear? So this is the reason why the glenohumeral joint mobility is greater. Mobility is greater. Suppose if the ligament is tight, instead of loose, if it is tight, opposite, then what will happen to the mobility? Mobility will be restricted. Clear? And if it is small, if the capsule is small, again the mobility will be reduced. So the purpose of this characteristics is to increase the joint mobility. Clear? And this joint capsule is, second point, this joint capsule it is slack anteriorly and inferiorly. It is slack. Slack means it is very loose. Especially it is loose in the anterior direction and inferior direction. That is why the dislocation, the shoulder, in shoulder, the dislocation is common in which side? Do you know? In shoulder, what is the commonest dislocation site? It is
Inferior.
anterior and inferior. So this is the commonest dislocation in the shoulder joint. So what does it mean? What is the reason? Anterior, why it is common? Because the capsule is slack. In anterior direction, the capsule is slack, and in inferior direction, capsule is slack. Clear? You know the capsule is surrounded in all the direction: anterior, posterior, inferior, and superior. Clear? So in this anterior and inferior, the capsule is very lax or it is slack. That is that this is the main reason why the shoulder joint get dislocated or subluxated in this two direction. Are you clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third point, the capsular surface area, that is the surface area of the capsule is, it is twice that of humeral head. The area, the surface area of the capsule, it is twice that of the humeral head. Clear? If in the neutral position or in the what do you call resting position or the neutral position or the loose pack position of the shoulder joint, clear, the distraction will be maximum 2.5 centimeter. Clear? Imagine this is glenoid cavity and this is humerus. Clear? And this is capsule, joint capsule. Clear? What I have told, anterior and inferior joint capsule is lax. Clear? Of course, superior is also there and posterior, that side. Posterior side also there is a capsule. Among this, anterior and inferior capsule is weak when compared to other areas. So in resting position, when you distract the humerus, you know what is distraction? Distract. This is traction. This is traction, and this is distraction. When you separate the joint perpendicular to the plane, treatment plane, then it is called distraction. You know already. So in the resting position, when you distract the joint, maximum 2 to 2.5 centimeters of distraction will be possible. What is the reason? Because the ligament or the capsule is lax. Clear? The capsular surface is twice the surface area of the humeral head. That is the reason why the what? You can able to distract the joint without dislocation or without subluxation. You can distract the joint for up to 2.5 centimeter. The reason is the surface area is twice and the capsule is lax. So this laxity provides little stability and larger range of motion. Suppose imagine if the ligament, if the capsule is tight, clear, or if the ligament, if the capsule is small, instead of large, it is small, then what will happen? There will be restriction of range of motion. Range of motion will be limited. If instead of large, if it is small, range of motion will be limited. Clear? You know that the range of motion is 180 degree. Clear? Through flexion and abduction, it is 180 degree. So what is the reason? Because the capsule is large. It allows the full range of motion and maximum range of motion. Clear? So this is about the capsule. This is about the capsule. Now we will study about the ligament. We have studied few points in capsule. Now we will study about the ligaments. Clear? So ligaments, there are classified under two headings. Listen carefully. The ligaments are classified under two. One is called as capsular. One is called as a capsular ligament, and second one is called as an extracapsular ligament. Clear? So there are two ligaments are there. One is capsular ligaments and extracapsular ligament. First, the joint is covered by capsule. First, the joint is covered by capsule. And capsule is weak. Already we know the capsule is, we have discussed capsule is weak. Clear? So this capsule is weak. So the capsule is the strength for the capsule is given by the ligament. Clear? Because the capsule is weak, the joint is the strengthen the capsule is strengthened by the ligaments. So now above the capsule there will be a ligament that is called capsule. There are two types of ligament: capsular ligament and extracapsular ligament. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
So this capsular ligament is divided. There are three ligaments are there. Clear? One is superior superior glenohumeral ligament, middle glenohumeral ligament, inferior glenohumeral ligament. So all these three ligaments together it is called capsular ligament. Clear? Other name of this inferior ligament is, again this is divided into three. Clear? Three bands or three part. One is anterior part. I will explain this. Wait for a few minutes. Inferior and posterior part and inferior part and posterior, anterior, inferior and posterior. So this inferior part is otherwise called as axillary pouch. Clear? Now I will show all these ligaments in the diagram. Clear? Now you see last point here. The three capsular glenohumeral ligaments are first is capsule. Capsule we already discussed. Capsule we already discussed. Now coming to capsule. Capsular there are three ligaments are and so now capsular ligament superior glenohumeral medial sorry, it's not medial, it's middle. Please correct it. Superior glenohumeral, middle glenohumeral, and inferior glenohumeral ligament. Okay. So, and second ligament is extracapsular ligament that we will discuss. Now, superior glenohumeral, I will show the diagram. Mm, yes. See, this is white color. And the thing which you are seeing in white color, this one, this area. This is capsule. And this is joint capsule. And what I have told, anteriorly and inferiorly, the joint capsule is lax. Now coming next, first capsule. Next, the capsule is surrounded by ligaments. What ligaments? There are two types of ligaments are there. One is what is first is capsular ligament. Second is extra capsular ligament. So what is capsular ligament? There are three capsular ligament. One, two, three. This is one superior glenohumeral ligament, and this is two middle glenohumeral, and this one is three inferior glenohumeral ligament. But now listen carefully. This inferior glenohumeral ligament is not called as inferior glenohumeral ligament. It is called as a complex. Inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. Why? Because this third ligament comprises of anterior part, inferior part, and posterior part. Clear? So here what you are seeing is anterior. Clear? What you are seeing here is anterior. Again, I'll explain. So this third part is divided into one and here you can see 2, and posterior side you will see 3. Clear? So this inferior glenohumeral ligament, it comprises of 3 ligaments. That is the reason why it is called as a complex. Clear? So now you see once again. Okay. See, superior glenohumeral ligament. Okay. This we will discuss next in next slide. Okay. So now, attachment of glenohumeral ligament, capsular ligament. And there are 2 ligaments are there. One is capsular and other is extracapsular. Now we are going to study the attachment of capsular ligament. Capsular ligament, there are 3 capsular ligament: superior, middle, and inferior. See, inferior is otherwise called as an inferior glenohumeral ligament complex, IGLC. IGHLC, inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. In some book it is given in short form, IGHLC. So what is first we will discuss superior glenohumeral ligament attachment. Superior glenohumeral ligament, there are 2 attachment are there. One is glenoid attachment and other is a humeral attachment. Glenoid attachment is, this is glenoid cavity and this is humerus. Cleaner. So glenoid attachment is, what is superior? Glenoid labrum. You know the glenoid cavity is having the labrum. Clear? Glenoid labrum, last class we have discussed. And this is the labrum. And connecting in the border of the what? Glenoid cavity, labrum. So glenoid attachment, now I will draw in some other color. Glenoid attachment is somewhere here, glenoid labrum. This is the glenoid labrum. From here it is attached. Clear? We are talking about superior glenohumeral ligament. And what is humeral attachment? Upper neck of the humerus. Clear? This is head and this is neck. So this portion is called as an upper neck. From here to here it is called as an upper neck. So this is the attachment of superior glenohumeral ligament. What is next? Middle glenohumeral ligament. Superior anterior labrum. Glenoid attachment is superior anterior labrum. Here superior and anterior. This is anterior labrum. Clear? And glenoid attachment is anterior aspect of proximal humerus. This is anterior aspect of proximal humerus. This is middle. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
And third one is inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. This consists of 3 ligaments. Clear? So what is the 3 ligament? Antero. Okay. What are the 3 ligaments? Who can name it? Anterior, inferior, posterior. Clear? Anterior, inferior, and posterior. So now how I can draw here? You can see only anterior here. You can see only anterior. So this is anterior ligament, and inferior is like this. Inferior it is called as what I have told. Inferior it is called axillary couch. Okay, I'll show in this slide. So this is anterior band, and inferior band will be inferior somewhere here. Clear? This is inferior. This is inferior band, and posterior. Posterior is somewhere here. Clear? So anterior, middle, sorry, anterior, inferior, and posterior. Together it is called as inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. Inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is about the attachment. Clear? Superior glenohumeral ligament. We are studying the capsular ligament. Superior glenohumeral, middle glenohumeral, inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. Clear? Now, function of the ligament. Listen carefully. Function of the ligament. So I had made a tabulation, but in your book it is given with diagram. Um, Krishna, you can go through the diagram in the Krishna. I think I'm not having that picture. Okay. So superior glenohumeral ligament. What is the main function? Or I will show the from the book itself. One second. Can you see the image?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images given. Here 5 images given. I will explain this image. You can go through later. So first diagram is the glenohumeral ligament at rest. At rest. This is at rest. Clear? At rest, you see the ligament position. Anterior, sorry, superior, middle, and complex. Inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. This is the position of the ligament. Second is, okay, at 45, B is at 45 degree of humeral abduction and neutral rotation. This is in humerus in neutral rotation, but it is 45 degree abducted. It is 45 degree abducted. So what is happening? You see this ligament, you see the middle position of the middle, you see the superior ligament, superior glenohumeral ligament, it is lax. Clear? And in middle glenohumeral ligament, it is slightly taut. Slightly taut. Inferior is, it is taut. Clear? This is second position. Third, at 90 degree, this is 90 degree. In 90 degree, you see the inferior glenohumeral ligament complex, it is what? So all are neutral rotation. This is neutral rotation. Here, neutral rotation. This is becoming taut and these two ligaments are becoming lax at 90 degree. Here also the neutral rotation. Here also neutral rotation. What is neutral rotation? There is no inward or internal or external rotation. The position of the arm is in neutral rotation. Only here it is discussed at neutral 0 degree, and here it is 45 degree, and here it is 90 degree. So in all the position, the humeral head is neutrally rotated. Now, coming to fourth diagram, it is 90 degree abduction. Clear? And you see here it is laterally rotated. Now it is laterally rotated. Clear? You know what is this ligament? Anterior ligament or inferior posterior ligament of the complex? Yes. which part is this? Anterior. This is anterior view. You are seeing from the front view. This is front view. So what is the ligament? Glenohumeral ligament complex. There are three. One is anterior, inferior, and posterior. 1, 2, 3. So what is this ligament?
Sir, anterior.
Yes, it is anterior ligament. Clear? So what will happen? What will happen? Now I am asking you the question. If the humerus is rotated externally, you can try it on your own body. Clear? You can try it. Abduct your arm to 90 degrees and slightly externally rotate. This anterior ligament will become lax or it will become taut. What is the answer?
Slightly lax.
Oh, it should be taut, yeah. It is rotating externally. And you are rotating backward. You are rotating in backward direction. External rotation. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So this ligament will become, anterior ligament will become taut. Okay. Now second question. What will happen to this posterior ligament?
Sir, legs.
Yes. Posterior ligament will become, we are talking only this ligament. We are talking the inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. Only, we are discussing only. These two will be already lax because it is 90 degree abducted. These two will be already lax. We are studying only this ligament. Clear? Complex. When you do external rotation, again I'll repeat, see, when you are doing in 90 degree position, abduction, clear? When you do external rotation, clear? Inferior glenohumeral ligament complex, there are three ligaments are there, anterior, inferior and posterior. Clear? So what will happen in this situation? What will happen in this situation? The anterior will become taut and posterior will become lax. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And now second, in abduction position, in abduction 90 degree position, clear? If you do internal rotation, in abducted position, if you do internal rotation, inferior glenohumeral complex, again there are three ligaments, anterior, inferior and posterior. Now you tell which will become lax and which will become taut.
Sir, anterior become legs and posterior become
Very
taut.
good. Posterior will become taut. So that is what here explained in this diagram. Clear? So now you see here, this is posterior direction. This is posterior. You see this is what ligament? Posterior glenohumeral ligament complex. Glenohumeral ligament complex का posterior part है. Clear? This is medial rotation. That is front. You are rotating in towards forward. So this will become taut. And in this situation, when you are rotating posteriorly, this will become taut. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is what I had explained in the tabulation. You can go through the tabulation later on. So in what position, what ligament will taut, and what is the further, okay. So here this point I will explain. What is the function of the ligament? See, whenever the ligament is taut, the stability will increase. Whenever the ligament is taut, the stability in that particular area will increase. Clear? For one example, I will explain you. See here, abduction with medial rotation. Abduction with medial rotation. Okay, this is abduction with medial rotation. Which ligament will become taut? Yes, abduction
Posterior.
with posterior. Yes. So now this is posterior. Mm, this is posterior view. Clear? So here is the ligament. Here is the ligament. What ligament? Capsular ligament. We are discussing capsular ligament. Capsular ligament in the posterior part. So when you are doing abduction and internal rotation, here this ligament will become taut. So if this ligament will become taut, then what will happen? The stability in the posterior direction will be increased. If this ligament will become taut, what will happen? The stability in posterior direction is increased. Stability, that is posterior stability, will increase when the shoulder is abducted 90-degree with internal rotation. What will happen? The posterior stability will increase. That is what I had explained here. Clear? Abduction with medial rotation, the posterior ligament will become taut and posterior glenohumeral head translation is prevented. Posterior glenohumeral head translation is prevented. That means what? Stability is increased in the posterior direction. Same way with abduction and lateral rotation. What will happen in abduction and lateral rotation? Anterior ligament will become taut and what stability is increased? Anterior glenohumeral head translation is prevented. It will not translate. The translation of the humerus in the anterior direction is prevented. Clear? And simple abduction. You're not doing internal rotation or you're not doing external rotation. Simply when you are doing abduction, inferior, that is called inferior glenohumeral ligament, is otherwise called as axillary pouch. Already I have told. That will become taut. And both the anterior and posterior will become, it will be slightly tensed, but comparatively it will be lax. Which one is taut? Inferior will be taut and it will prevent inferior glenohumeral head translation. The translation of humeral head, the translation of humeral head in this direction is prevented in pure abduction. Clear? Without abduction, without what? Without internal rotation or external rotation. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let next slide. If you, this diagram is taken from Newman. I have taken this diagram from Newman, so you can see the picture clearly. Clear? You see, yes, this is inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. Clear? You see anterior band, inferior band is otherwise called axillary pouch, and posterior band. Clear? So here is anterior band, and here is the middle or the inferior, which is called as a pouch, and posterior band, this is posterior. So this together it is called as inferior glenohumeral ligament complex. What happened here? Clear? So together it is called as a complex. What is the other two ligament? What is the other two ligament? Superior glenohumeral ligament. This is first part. This is second part, middle glenohumeral ligament, and third part is inferior glenohumeral ligament. These three things collectively it is called as capsular, called as capsular ligament. Clear? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, one point I would like to highlight here. You can see here a called rotator interval. Now, what is this rotator interval? Anyone know? Can anyone explain what is rotator interval? Yes or no? Fast.
No, sir.
Okay. See, in the rotate, you know the attachment of the muscles. You know the attachment of rotator cuff muscle. Okay. This is lesser tubercle and this is greater tubercle. Now you know lesser tubercle, greater tubercle. In lesser tubercle, this is the muscle subscapularis. Subscapularis muscle is inserted here. You know the attachment. I will take only two bones. Clear? So the origin of subscapularis muscle is subscapular fossa. From here it takes origin and here it is inserted. This is subscapularis muscle. Yes, internal rotator. It will rotate the humerus in the internal direction. And what is other muscle? Supraspinatus. Supraspinatus is here. It is attached in the suprascapular fossa, this area. This is suprascapular origin and this is insertion. Clear? It goes below the acromion process and it comes out like this and it is inserted in the what? Upper impression of the greater tubercle. Clear? So now, what is rotator interval? What is rotator interval? I'll show slightly in this direction. Okay. So here the subscapularis muscle is inserted and from there what is supraspinatus muscle is coming here. Are you clear what I am saying?
Yes, sir.
So in between these two muscles, that is subscapularis and supraspinatus, you can see one gap here. You can see one gap. Clear? So this gap is called as rotator cuff interval. What is interval? Interval means the meaning for interval is gap. So there is a gap between two rotator cuff muscle. So this area is called as rotator cuff interval. So this area is considered as weak point in the shoulder. This is the place where the anterior dislocation will occur because here the protection, stability is less. Clear? So this rotator cuff interval is covered by three structures. It is covered by three structures. You can see in this diagram. Clear? This is supraspinatus muscle is coming like this. And here is the subscapularis muscle. Clear? And in between you can see the gap. This gap. This is called rotator interval capsule. Clear? So this rotator interval capsule is covered by three structures. Clear? So what are those three structures? Clear? Already in the first, okay. Now you see this slide. Superior glenohumeral ligament, superior capsule, coracohumeral ligament. These are the three structures present in the rotator interval capsule. Superior glenohumeral ligament. You know what is superior glenohumeral ligament? It is a part of the capsular ligament, first ligament. Superior glenohumeral ligament, and capsule is, it is lying deep. It is like first capsule will come and next glenohumeral ligament will come. And coracohumeral ligament. So what is coracohumeral ligament? Coracohumeral ligament is called as extracapsular ligament. So totally how many ligaments are there? Capsular ligaments, there are 3 ligaments. Clear? And this third ligament is again divided into 3 parts. But you should call it only 3. Clear? It is 3 ligament. Capsular ligament are 3 and extracapsular ligament is 1. Clear? So what is extracapsular ligament? Coracohumeral ligament. So now you see this diagram. Yes. You can see this diagram. Yes, here it is given. You see this is coracohumeral ligament. What is coracohumeral ligament? From the name itself it is clear. This is coracoid process, that is humeral. The ligament is attached between coracoid process and the humeral head. Clear? So this ligament is called as an extracapsular ligament. And this 3 ligament is called as capsular ligament. Clear? So what are these structures? Lies or bridges the rotator cuff interval. There are 3 structures. What are the 3 structures? Who can repeat?
Superior glenohumeral ligament, superior capsule, and coracohumeral ligament.
Very good. First capsule will come, and then this ligament is called as coracohumeral ligament, and this second ligament, this ligament is called as what ligament? Superior glenohumeral capsule. Clear? So one is capsular ligament and other is extracapsular ligament. And other than this, there is a capsule. So these 3 structures are present or bridging the rotator cuff interval and giving stability to this rotator cuff interval. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So first what will come? So where is rotator cuff interval? Somewhere here. So this area. So first you can see the superior capsule. First you will see the superior capsule. And what is second? Above this you can see one more ligament, that is coracohumeral ligament. This is coracoid process. You can see the coracoid process here. This one is coracoid process. So this is coracohumeral ligament, and this and what is next? Third, superior glenohumeral ligament. So this 3, first is capsule, second is coracohumeral ligament, third is superior glenohumeral ligament. These 3 structures, it lies. Where it lies? Where it lies, this 3 structure? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
It lies in the rotator cuff or rotator
Interval.
interval. These 3 structures together, it is called as rotator interval capsule. Clear? What are the 3 structures? Superior capsule, coracohumeral ligament, superior glenohumeral ligament. Clear? These 3 structures is called as rotator interval interval capsule. Okay. This diagram you can go through. Extracapsular ligament originates from the base of the coracoid process. What is the name of the extracapsular ligament? Coracohumeral ligament. So where it is attached? So last point, I will tell last point and I will finish. So this coracohumeral ligament, it is having two bands. Coracohumeral ligament is having two parts. Two bands. Listen, one attachment is coracoid process to tubercle. Second band is coracoid process to lesser. I will show in diagram here. There bands are there. Clear? Extracapsular ligament, which is called as a coracohumeral ligament, it is having two bands. First band is from coracoid process to greater. What is this? This is called as a greater tubercle. So from here to here, one ligament will pass. This is one band, and this is lesser tubercle. This is lesser tubercle, and here is another band. Clear? Both the ligament are called as coracohumeral ligament. Both the ligament is called as a extracapsular ligament is coracohumeral ligament. It has two band. It has two band. One is, this is one, and this is two. Are you clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Between these two bands, listen carefully, between these two bands, there is a gap. And there is a tunnel. So this is the pathway for this. It provides pathway for the which muscle? Long head of biceps. Long head of biceps, a tendon. It comes like this. Clear? This gap, it serves for the as a tunnel for the long head of biceps. Biceps tendon, it comes in between these two extracapsular ligament. Clear? See, this is the last slide. The coracohumeral ligament originates from the base of the coracoid process and has two bands. First band blends with supraspinatus. You know the greater tubercle origin is insertion is supraspinatus muscle. Greater tubercle insertion is supraspinatus muscle. So first band, it blends with the supraspinatus muscle and attached with the greater tubercle. And the second band, origin is same. Origin is coracoid process. Base of the coracoid process. But it blends. What is meaning of blend? Blend means it mixes up. It mixes with the subscapularis muscle. And you know the insertion of subscapularis muscle. Subscapularis muscle is inserted in the lesser tubercle. So second band, it blends with this muscle and it attached to the lesser tubercle. Clear? So third point, tendon of the long head of biceps passes between this tunnel. So extracapsular ligament ka beech mein, in between this, that biceps tendon, it comes out. So this is the function. Okay. Here it is not clear. Only one ligament is given here. Clear? So which ligament? From coracoid process to the, okay. This is, who can tell? This is band 1 or 2? First band or second band?
First.
Yes. And this is the second band.
Second.
In between this, the biceps tendon, it is coming out. Clear? So this is about the and function you go through. Function of the extracapsular ligament. Function of extracapsular ligament, that is coracohumeral ligament. It limits inferior translation. In which position? Dependent position of the arm. Limits inferior translation. Clear? See, this is the attachment. This is the attachment of two band, coracohumeral ligament. So in dependent position, what is dependent position? Arm at 0 degree position. Clear? In dependent position, what happens? Due to gravity, the humerus may slide inferiorly. Clear? When this humerus is sliding inferiorly, then this ligament will become taut. Clear? So what happened? It provides inferior stability to the inferior translation. It will not allow the humerus to translate inferiorly because this ligament will become taut. Clear? And second, see, limits the inferior translation. Limits inferior translation in the dependent arm position. Second, resist humeral lateral rotation. Resist humeral lateral rotation, arm in abducted position. Because if you do lateral rotation, what will happen? The ligament will become taut and it will provide what? It resists the humeral lateral rotation. It will not, you cannot perform excess lateral rotation. It will limit. It will not resist, it will restrain. It will limit the external rotation of the humerus, because when you are doing external rotation, this ligament will become taut. And last is, it prevents superior translation of the humerus. It also prevents superior translation of humerus. Why? Because in abducted position, clear? What will happen? Because there is a stability, and a stability is provided in the superior direction. So it cannot move in the superior direction also. Are you clear? Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you have any doubt, you can ask me. No doubt?
No, sir.
So we have discussed 3 points: capsule, capsular ligament, extracapsular ligament. So today we have discussed the glenohumeral ligament, glenohumeral joint, capsular ligaments. Okay. 1 second.